My dear brothers and sisters, a close friend of mine, Dov Ber Cowan, once told me that the Ishbitzer says something very powerful in the beginning of Parshas Kedoshim, on the words of Lehim Asecha rather. He brings out and he says that Lehim Asecha are images which are cast in a way which can't be changed. The danger with that, obviously aside from the explicit Isra Avodah Zarah, is that it also refers to each and every one of us in terms of our Avodas Hashem and how we relate to God. When we are young children and we are introduced to the concept of a all-knowing and omnipotent and omnipresent and everything that we know about Hashem, we are usually introduced to concepts like reward and punishment, and if we do the right thing, then we get rewarded and Hashem is happy. If we do the wrong thing, then we get punished and Hashem is angry or sad. And for many, unfortunately, it doesn't go beyond that. This kind of understanding becomes set in stone, it becomes cast in lead, it becomes something which remains unchanged. And that's dangerous because life's journey is about that change, is about how has my experience now changed the way that I interact with Hashem. Getting older, going through certain life experiences, meeting certain people, learning new things, going through good times, bad times. These are all things that should shape our way of understanding and interacting with Hashem on a day-to-day. And so it's important that meaning that don't cast Hashem in a certain image. Meaning aside from the fact that Hashem isn't physical, don't let Hashem, your understanding of Hashem, be something which is constantly the same and unchanging and in a certain sense held captive. And that was a very powerful idea, and it's something that's been on my mind since then. And interestingly enough, I saw an interesting Baal Hatanya which discusses Ahavas Yisroel, how these two connected. Well, the Baal Hatanya says the reason why people have such a difficult time with Ahavas Yisroel is because it's really rooted in something much, much deeper. It's rooted in our understanding and appreciation of ourselves. What does that mean? It means, says the Baal Hatanya, that when you look in the mirror and you see your body, he uses very strong words, but what he says is, cast this aside, be disgusted by it. What he means is, don't let it hold too much value. What you see is just the physical body of what you are. And even the actions that you do and the things that you've accomplished, even if they're positive ones, they are only a fraction of what you can do and a fraction of your potential. And you can accomplish so much more. And we tend not to see ourselves that way. We tend to see ourselves that I'm person X and this is what I like and this is what I do and I don't do this and I do that. And of course, within the parameters of halacha and Torah, of course there are certain North Stars which should always stay where they are. But between those different aspects of our lives and different ways of doing it, there's a massive chasm which has very much room for creativity and for how we do that, because everybody is different. And so, says the Baal Hatanya, if we learn to see it in ourselves, we can see it within others. Unfortunately, we often don't, and therefore we don't see it in others. And when we see somebody, we see them for exactly what we see. So we see the way the person looks, the way the person dresses, the way the person acts, what job they have, what house they have, how they daven. And that's kind of what we draw up, but we don't see way beyond that because there's so much more that we don't see. And I believe that this idea of the Ishbitzer goes to ourselves and to the way we see other people. Don't cast anything in stone. Don't say this is what it is. You can always tell yourself this is what it seems like to me. You can always tell yourself I wonder X, Y, and Z. But as Rav Nachman says, the ikar is that we should realize that we don't know anything. Meaning, you need to come always with a perspective like whatever I know is a fraction of what there really is, and that way you can learn. Because if you think that you already know it all and that this is the way things are and that they are set in stone, then there's very little room for change, for improvement, for growth, for positivity at all. And it's truly something very humbling to realize that, yes, we do have certain beliefs and understandings of who or what Hashem is and our relation to them, and also who or what we are. And essentially we contain a chelek kelekamimal, part of Hashem, and the same teaching that would apply to our relationship to Hashem would apply to the piece of Hashem within us that makes us who we are. And we should be zeicha to actually be able to put this into practice, to see beyond the veil and see beyond the hastara, because afilu b'hastara shebesoich hastara, says Rav Nachman, b'vadei gam sham nimtza Hashem yisbarach. He doesn't say Gam Shamim Tzasir Misbach V'Vadai. It is certain. There is much more certainty of finding unlimited potential within the darkness, because then you know that there's no illusion that you thought there's something there. You thought there was nothing there, and you know I'm still looking for something. That is how we must approach ourselves in each and every yid and each and every circumstance, which no matter how dark it might seem, B'Vadai Gam Shamim Tzasir Misbach.